Okay.
Make the microphone face us first. There we go.
That's a good idea. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. We are here for our third episode of Geeks Creed. And I am Taylor Field from GeekVerse, and I'm joined by my friend Reuben Olson, who you met on our second episode.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking a little more about Assassin's Creed. It's been a while. E3 has happened, and we've gotten to see a little bit of stuff from there, and little tidbits of information have dropped out, but nothing too massive or really, really awesome, but we still got a long ways to go before the movie comes out. So they did happen to release the Assassin's Creed International trailer, and
that's amazing compared to the old one. It's the exact same thing, but it's lacking the one element that made it absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, what is that element there?
The I am a god. That horrible abomination that tainted any little tidbit they could release after. So they had to fix it first, and now it's totally fine. Now I'm hyped for the movie all over again. I feel good about it.
Did you notice at the very end of the trailer they actually have still Kanye saying, I think he says I am a god. I think he says it at the very end of the trailer.
I think that was just sloppy editing and they meant to cut that out too.
Well, hopefully they'll release a third international trailer and it will have that cut out.
It'll be in the title.
Scenes.
No Kanye West this time.
No Kanye West.
He'll be in the credits and it'll have like a little negative symbol beside his name because they deleted him.
See, the whole time I was watching that international trailer, I was anticipating and waiting, okay, where is this I am a god part going to come up? And I'm waiting for that.
I could hear the beat. I could hear its haunting voice in my head.
I could too. It was damaging. That song was horrific. But, I mean, at least, yeah, the trailer was much of an improvement. And I'm glad that that is the trailer they released internationally to the rest of the world without that song.
Well, if they released that to the rest of the world with the song, we'd have so many terrorist attacks right now.
On who? Ubisoft?
Yes, just them.
Just them. Fair enough. And they don't have any real assassins to save them.
Maybe they do and we just don't know it.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, overall, definitely a really good Assassin's Creed trailer. I was very much hoping for a little bit of more footage and all that. I am glad though, and I was very surprised because E3 is all video game related. There's never anything really movies. I can't remember if they've shown like past movie stuff before at an E3.
Not really, although because Ubisoft is like directly involved with the Assassin's Creed movie, I can understand why they would throw it in there. Mm-hmm. And they want to build hype for it, and they had a big audience at E3 too.
That's true, especially because they do get their own press conference, I guess, to present whatever they want. A lot of people apparently didn't think, as you can see, we just watched this clip with movie producer Frank Marshall comes out. A lot of people think that he didn't really give a shit the way he was being interviewed and presenting.
Well, he couldn't even remember how many countries he filmed in, so you know.
Yeah, I wrote that down, and I quote, we filmed in 3 or 4 different countries, and I feel particularly bad for that third or fourth country that he doesn't remember. That one country that just didn't make its mark. I know Travis from GeekVerse, he said, like, as a movie producer, and you're working on a film, how could you know? You need to know how many countries this is your movie. You're a producer for this freaking movie, and you don't know how many countries
That's what they're going to put in the credits. This was filmed in 3 or 4 different countries by people who have a few different religious beliefs, and that's horrible.
That is horrible. I mean, they definitely don't put that in the game credits. We filmed this we hired like 3 or 4 different countries to help make this game. Few different religions. We don't know.
Featuring a few different John Smiths who helped with the code.
So yeah, it was definitely a little bit of a up in the air moment for him to be interviewed like that. I was hoping that they would have brought in someone like Michael Fassbender himself, or even the movie director Justin Kurzel. I was glad though because they did show their opinions on the film. Like Justin Kurzel and Michael Fassbender both got to give in their explain the movie more in depth, and that was pretty neat to see. They both definitely seem a lot more excited, and
well, they better be.
Yeah, they better be.
It's not hard to be more excited than the guy who presented it.
That's very true. I am the more footage they keep showing like a Michael Fassbender, the more excited I am like to see him. And it was neat in the behind the scenes footage that they did show at E3. There was that one scene where he's kind of like at his table and he's got his head down and he looks behind him and he sees himself, or he sees his ancestor walking up towards him, and he turns his head back, like he's got all these conflicting thoughts going on in his head. What do you
Like the
think
bleed
about
over, like the bleeding whatever thing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that like play a part in the film. I hope it's more than just a few clips here and there.
that?
I want that to truly affect his personality.
Because it is neat how they did take that. You're right, the bleeding effect, because now that I think about it, they did have that, who was it? I think it was one of the assassins. I think it was Ezio in Assassin's Creed Revelations. He was having a bleeding effect of some kind because he was seeing Altair walking around and stuff like that. And even Desmond had the bleeding effect hard. He had
Major bleeding effects.
major bleeding effects.
Yeah, wow.
So a lot of the other scenes that they did show as well were the other characters like Brendan Gleeson and Michael K. Williams, and who I mentioned before about that one assassin who is in Assassin's Creed Liberation. Not the main one, the main girl, but as another assassin who forms his own cult afterwards, after leaving the Assassins. It's neat that we got to see Michael K. Williams in that role as being the descendant of that assassin. I'm looking forward to seeing all these different personalities and these different assassins interact on the big screen. What do you think?
I'm just looking forward to seeing the movie. I want to really delve into it once it's in theaters, study it, critique it a little bit here and there, and see what they did to the Assassin's Creed universe overall. As for the individual characters, I'm not going to care about them too much until I see them for myself. I don't want to get involved or invested in it yet. I just want to see the entire presentation in its completion.
So do you think this movie, because obviously it's still taking place in the universe and all that, do you think this movie is taking place after the events, because you haven't played Assassin's Creed Syndicate, but do you think it takes place after, as if they're releasing another game continuing that storyline?
No, I think they're going to try and tie this off from the games. Like, it'll be its own separate entity. Maybe it'll have some Easter eggs here and there. It might try to tie itself into the universe for the fans to go, oh, that might be between this game or that game, or this might come after this or before that. But they don't want to hint at it too much to confuse the viewers who haven't played the games.
Okay, so you think, though, it may be, like, in between some games, just its own thing, though?
Yeah, it'll have its own timeline theory, I'm sure.
Yeah, okay.
I was going to ask you, how do you feel about the costume design and the weapons and stuff? Because you talked about that before last time, how they have some really cool elements in the trailers showing off different Assassin's Creed weapons and stuff. But what do you think of the actual costumes themselves? Do you think we're going to see lots of people doing cosplay? You think we're going to see lots of people, maybe like action figures and stuff and merchandise based off the movie?
I know there's definitely merchandise. When I was gonna pre-order my tickets, they had an actual, it was an actual crossbow, functioning, working crossbow replica from the movie that Michael Fassbender uses or whatever. And that movie ticket was $1,200.
Oh.
I didn't have that kind of money.
Wow.
They had, if you got the $60 movie ticket pre-order, they give you his actual wrist blade. Plastic and stuff, not actual metal, but it does work.
Oh, I wish.
I wish too. They also had like the shirts, and they had all that stuff, and then they're giving out the digital scripts of the whole movie as well.
Now, what I really want to happen, and I don't want it to happen like to all the fans, but this evil entity inside me just wants to see an Assassin's Creed the movie, the game, be released based off the movie, its own separate thing, have its own game come out, and just.
Those never do good, though.
No, they won't do well at all. It'll just be horrible, and I want to see it so bad. I want to play it.
You know, if it came out for the iPad or iPod for like $1.99, I'd be inclined to buy it and play with it.
That's a mobile game. I don't know what it'd be more than like a Temple Run or something. But if they actually went and made a full-on Assassin's Creed game, the movie, the game, it could be so bad. It would be so full of glitches and crap. Or they could actually try to make it good, but that's not what I want to talk about. I want to see
bad.
I want to see the movie, the game, and I want it to be bad. I want the movie to be good, but if they make a game based off the movie, it better be bad.
So, you're saying like the soundtrack has been published by
That'll
Kanye
be
West?
The entire OST is the one song. From the title menu, it just fades in, and you start playing the game. You're like blending in with the crowd, trying to listen to someone talking, and all you hear is, "I am God, even though I'm son of God." Just in the background.
So is that the only dialogue as well for the characters in the game? You go up to talk to your mentor. I am a god.
When you kill someone with your wrist blade, that's the sound it makes. I'm a god. Every time.
You know, now if a game was that bad, I'd be inclined to pay $20 to actually test it out, do a review live stream of it. But you know, if they did throw out Assassin's Creed movie, Assassin's Creed the movie game, or the game, whatever you want to call it.
Assassin's
You know,
Creed the movie, the game, Assassins of Kings Enhanced Edition,
Assassins of Kings.
featuring Dante from Devil May Cry.
That'd be a pretty epic crossover. You know, they do crazy shit all the time, and I wouldn't be too surprised if they did. I very much doubt it, but you know, I mean, if you wanted to talk about how just a bad version, I
It would be
love it
only
if it
on
was
the
good.
Wii U.
Oh gosh, that just tops it off. They did have some Assassin's Creed games only for Nintendo DS.
Oh, did they? I know I played the PSP ones. I don't remember if I played a DS one, though.
Yeah, I own both of them. They have one, it's Altair's Chronicles, and then they have another one called Discovery.
Which one was it that I played on the PSP, or maybe it was the DS one, where you ran around and the camera was like Diablo style, and you collected like little crystals, and they just led you to your destination?
That, I'm pretty sure, was Assassin's Creed, Bloodlines. That was for PSP.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure
That's the
one
one
you're
that I
talking
played
about.
then.
Yeah, that was an old one.
Oh.
Old school.
Yeah.
They,
I remember playing it thinking, I wish I was playing a real Assassin's Creed game right now.
if you were to get Assassin's Creed Bloodlines given to someone as a gift, that's like getting...
Oh, it was.
Oh, it was a gift?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
It
sorry.
was given to my buddy as a gift.
Oh my gosh.
My best friend's like, oh, maybe you should try it.
That's like wanting a Star Wars Lego set so bad, and you just get a box of Call of Duty Mega Bloks instead.
And that's when you start passing it around the family like fruitcake. Like, oh, hey, you can have it. Here you go.
See, the only reason I bought Bloodlines was purely for the collective aspect, just to throw it into my Assassin's Creed collection. I don't own a PSP, and I don't plan on
You don't feel like
playing
it taints
again.
your collection? Now, see, with the movie, the game, would you buy it to add to your collection, or would
I'd
you
have
leave it
to.
out?
I'd have to, because it would go down in history as being the most shittiest piece of Assassin's Creed content known to man. And I'd have to buy that. It'd be worse than Unity, so that counts for something.
Oh, yeah, that would be pretty bad.
I'd have to add that to my collection. I do have, like, as I said, like Assassin's Creed, Altair's Chronicles, and the Discovery for DS. And I've not been able to beat those because I just can't keep my attention fully focused on them because they're so boring. It's like you said, why would I play this? I wish I could play a real Assassin's Creed game. So, I mean, not all of the handhelds are like that bad. Like, there's one Assassin's Creed game called Pirates, and that's on the iPod or whatever, and it's mostly just operating your ship. And it's a lot of fun being able to get into the battles and stuff like that. And then they just released Assassin's Creed Identity, which is another huge immersive Assassin's Creed game, and that's actually a really, really cool game. Back to about the cosplay, though, that you mentioned earlier, there are a lot of people online that are actually posting pictures of like the costumes look almost identical to like Michael Fassbender's and the other girls as well, and it's really quite impressive to see how much detail has really gone into these costumes. I know I just have my Altair costume. It's not nowhere as detailed, but
No, but if you had a movie costume, you would feel like a god when you wore it.
I'm pretty sure you would. That's what these people are trying to feel godlike.
My ideal cosplay costume would be a bale of hay.
Bale of hay. Yeah,
Yep.
why is that?
Assassin's Creed. Right away, I would just follow anyone dressed as Altair around, any of the assassins, and it would work so perfectly.
Yeah.
That's like, if you want to like do like a couples cosplay or something, one person is the assassin, the other is the bale of hay. They go hand in hand.
It's not a bad idea. I should do that with my girlfriend. It's a brilliant idea.
And then you just set up the eagle screech on your phone, so that when you lean in for a kiss or something, you just play that.
That is a phenomenal idea. I really, really like that idea. Wow, I might have to do that this Halloween. I get to pick the costumes.
I like how that went from like me following someone at a convention to being a couples thing, though. I don't think I'd want to do it where I'm following someone around with the sound on my phone as I lean in to kiss a stranger. That would just be horrible. No, you have to separate it. I mean...
Oh, well, yeah. Being on your own, yeah, that could be a bit like... I mean, I think they'd probably get a kick out of it, but, I mean, if a guy comes up to you... It might feel a bit awkward, a bit of tension there, but, yeah, that would work better as a couple's idea, I think. Couple's costume. So another thing, too, I played through Assassin's Creed Syndicate again, and just being able to see a lot of the cutscenes that they have of present day stuff, And I know, like we talked about before, a lot of people they're not happy with the fact that it's going to be mostly in present day and not as much in the past. But when you look at the games, like I know a lot of people are interested in the present day because of Desmond's point of view, but in the other games that don't have Desmond in them, when you see those cutscenes that have a ton of like the assassins fighting and you see a lot of this present day action, it is actually really, really well done. I know a lot of people are into the old war torn like past and all that, but to see present day like guys coming at you with guns and stuff, and you see this woman just throw out the smoke grenade and you just see the guns just drop and stuff, and she's going at it with wrist blades and getting into doing kicks and stuff like that against guys with guns. There's something really cool about that where past meets present, and that's actually something that the movie producer Frank Marshall actually said too earlier. He says that he was enjoying that combination of where the past meets the present, and they're combining the two in this movie.
I think that's how they should end the movies, is have the future meet the present. We could go through the movie. Sequel, they could explore a different assassin's character, like someone else, and still have Michael Fassbender. And then in the third movie, they could skip ahead to maybe some distant relative or some other thing going on. And then at the very, very end of the movie, they have someone sit down in an animus in the future, like sci-fi setting. And they go back in time and wake up as Desmond.
Oh.
And that would be the end.
That would be a really neat spin. So wake up as Desmond where? At what point then? Before Desmond goes through all of his stuff in the games?
Yeah.
So where
in
we
the
would
bar,
pick up.
in the bar where he walks in or something where he works. And then they go through his life sitting down to enter other assassins.
So he would be in an animus into Desmond's mind of Desmond going into the animus.
Yeah,
going
yeah.
into that is some Inception stuff right there. That'd be
It would
pretty
be
intense.
so perfect. They could end it like that because it's like, oh hey, you just watched all 3 movies. Okay, go play the games now. Continue the story. I guess that's a way to tie it in. If that's, I wouldn't mind that. Like before, I was saying they'll probably throw in a little Easter egg here or there. But if they just did that and they ended it like that, that would be cool.
That would be cool. I know I definitely want a very big tie-in. I mean, I'll take Easter eggs if I have to, but if they could tie in the film with the games in a huge way, that would make it all the better for me, but not in a way where non-fans are left there thinking, what's going on, like with Warcraft.
They could even do it without the whole futuristic sci-fi thing. If they do tie it in and say that this is happening after the games, then Michael Fassbender could go in and wake up as Desmond, and they could just end it there.
But Michael Fassbender isn't Well, he's not Desmond though. But he doesn't.
He's not related, no.
He's
right?
not related, no.
No, so it has to be maybe someone that knows him then.
But they did change that because in Assassin's Creed Black Flag, you're just playing as a random guy, and Abstergo has it set up so that you can access. They have all the memories harvested from and everything from blood, so anyone can sit down on a computer and relive.
So they could do
whatever.
that.
They could do that. So then he could actually access Desmond if he wanted to. That would be a really, really neat twist. I know, like, have you seen Warcraft yet?
I have not.
You haven't?
I've heard some bad things about it. Maybe I've heard 1 or 2 good things, but mostly bad, and I'm just kind of avoiding it until it comes out on Blu-ray and DVD. Maybe I'll give it a go then, but I don't want to go to the theater to see it.
So it's really the only movie, game-to-movie film that's been out right now. That is out prior to Assassin's Creed. Hearing these mixed reviews on it, does that make you concerned at all about Assassin's Creed in any way? Does it deter you from wanting to see it, or?
Well, it's
do you
kind of
still
its
have
own
faith?
separate thing, right? Because, I mean, how many people working on Warcraft are going to be working on the Assassin's Creed movie? Is there anyone?
I don't think so.
Then
I think it's just
totally not related to me then.
But so
I
many
don't care.
people look at it as being related. Like they see Prince of Persia and see, oh, that was a bad video game movie, and they associate it with a video game movie. So they see Warcraft as being a bad video game movie, and they're gonna think, oh, Assassin's Creed is another one of those video game movies. Why am I gonna go see it?
And I grew up watching the Super Mario Brothers movie as a kid.
Oh God. Oh my God.
You really can't top it.
Yeah, you can.
So I'm still looking forward to Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, well that's fair enough. I know I heard mixed things with Warcraft, and when I did see it, I was left in the dark, like with a lot of aspects. I didn't understand a lot of what was going on, and the characters didn't have that well of an introduction to them.
Well, they
I
should
didn't
have zoomed
understand.
out and showed someone sitting at a computer hitting the hotkeys for different spells and abilities.
That I would have been able to relate to because I've sat at the computer in that situation. I just hope that Assassin's Creed doesn't follow suit in that kind of aspect where they've immersed you in this world with so much going on and they don't give you enough time to get to know the characters and all that. Like with Warcraft, they were saying all these names, and I'm like, who? Wait, what? What's going on? Who's that person?
Yeah, no, that's a bad way to approach a movie, and especially something that you're going to be showing to an audience that has very little relation to the game. But with the Assassin's Creed movie, just from the trailer alone, I think they're going to be focusing more on characterization.
Characterization?
They've got the whole Templar story, they've got the assassins, that's fine and dandy, but you can't make a story out of it. They're focusing on the present day to get you attached to those characters so that they can tell that story from the new beginning that they've picked out for this set of movies.
Do you think they're going to have enough time to really get into each different character? Because
That's
had
what
the
I'm
seven
worried
of them.
about. I mean, they could definitely focus on the main character. Others might get shafted a bit, or maybe set aside for future films. And I don't want that to happen, but I highly doubt they're going to release like a 3 or 4 hour movie. So they're going to have to cut some character development from someone.
Yeah, because I think the movie's only an hour and 40 something minutes. It's not long at all.
If they can focus on 2 people, they can make it work. Main character, someone else, you can get a decent story out of it. Something that makes you feel attached.
Well, with the amount of characters that they do have, I mean, they have Michael K. Williams, who obviously, behind the scenes footage, they really emphasized him, so he's obviously going to get some character development. Then they have Michael Fassbender, obviously, but not just him and his present day character, his past as well. So that counts as 2 characters there that we're going to have to learn about. And then we have Marion Cotillard, and then Jeremy Irons, and we have Brendan Gleeson. So there's all these different people that we're going to have to get to know. And I mean, personally, I would love to just get to know the assassins, because there's going to be that 7, I think it was 7, that group of them. And it looks like we're only really getting to know 2, actually 3, because there's that girl in the past that we get to look at too. But it definitely does create that concern. I don't want to see anyone get shafted or anyone get taken out, but I mean, it's going to happen, I guess. They did show, actually, in the behind the scenes, there was some extra footage too of Michael Fassbender jumping through. It looked like the cafeteria and he was throwing like a smoke grenade. It does look like at some point they are actually making their escape out of this facility, and I'm wondering, what do you think about that? Do you think that adds too much for this film that they're going to have going into the past and getting captured?
Because, I mean, even in the first game, it didn't end with that. They saved that for Assassin's Creed 2 before they went and did like an escape into a different animus and stuff. Fitting that into an hour and 40 minutes, that's going to be a totally different experience, and you could miss out on quite a bit of detail.
Yeah. So do you think that was the ending there? Like, because obviously,
I hope not. If it's like the midway, they start with his introduction to the Assassin's Creed stuff, right? He gets maybe a little bit of bleed over and can escape, and then finish the movie somewhere else in a different animus. That'd be okay. That is kind of lumping like the whole first area that he has to go into aside. But if they're going to do it, they can still try and make it work that way.
As we were just talking about character development, that one scene where Marion Cotillard is talking to Jeremy Irons and she's saying, we need to show him his past, and Jeremy's just looking kind of like, I'm not on board with this, but she seems so firm in helping Michael Fassbender out in this sense. Do you think that she is maybe not full on bad? Maybe she's got another side to her at all?
Yeah, that could totally be it. Same kind of deal with the games there, leading up with the girl helping you escape. You know, I think that they're going to try and emulate something from the games.
So you're not too worried at all if it's too much of a mirror of Assassin's Creed 1?
I don't want it to be too much of a mirror. They can take the elements, but they have to change the characterizations in some way. If they have the exact same characters, it's going to feel like a cardboard cutout.
So with all this new hype and the new trailer and all this about the Kanye song for Assassin's Creed, does the movie at all get you interested in wanting to play or go back to Assassin's Creed? Or
Yes, definitely. There is a little bit of a pull there for me to go back and finish Assassin's Creed 4 because I never got to finish it. I still don't feel the pull to go through the whole story from the beginning because I did play 1 and 2. I didn't get to really finish 3. I didn't play like Revelations or the others like that. I don't feel the need to go back to those. But if I hadn't played those games yet, I think the movie would make me delve right into the games. Even just seeing the trailers, maybe I might go and try a game or two if I hadn't played them yet. just to see what it's all about, you know? Something that I think the Warcraft movie would never do. You watch the Warcraft trailer, you don't feel the need to go, oh, I gotta go play this World of Warcraft. But the Assassin's Creed trailer kind of gives you that interest, like, whoa, there's like this time travel stuff. You've got assassins. This feels really action-y. And maybe you've seen a few gameplay clips or pictures here and there, and you go, oh, yeah, that sounds like a fun game to just pick up and play.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, it's different from other movie to game things. Like, even look at Pixels. That's not going to make you want to go play Pac-Man. Looking at the Super Mario Brothers movie way back when, no. And anyone who knew anything knew that it was based off Mario Brothers, and they knew what that game was like. What's another video game trailer, though? Can you think of one that would make you want to go play the games if you maybe hadn't already? And compare that to Assassin's Creed.
A movie trailer that would make me want to go play the game?
Yeah. Does Assassin's Creed do it for you?
Assassin's Creed does it for me. Like, the more I kept watching it and seeing the behind-the-scenes look, that's when I went back and replayed more of Syndicate. Because it just got me so hooked, and I wanted to get back into that, like, amazing world of Assassins and experience everything that's going on. But I can't think of really another game that really has that. I mean, I didn't play Prince of Persia at the time, so I didn't know that kind of feeling. When I saw the trailer for that, I wasn't like, oh, I gotta go play Prince of Persia. I guess because I didn't already know what I was getting into.
I think the Prince of Persia games had a different tone. The movie, to me, I didn't enjoy the Prince of Persia's movie, but I don't know if it would have pulled me into playing the games as much as the new Assassin's Creed one does, just because of how calm the other one was. I think they showed the sands of time a little bit in the trailer, and I think if they showed it a lot more, I would have went to play the games, but those were really good games. I mean, I played the Super Nintendo Prince of Persia, and that is nothing compared to the newer ones. It's a classic game in its own right, but I don't have anything to go off of with coming to the new games that are totally different. They're so much more action-oriented. And then the trailer came out for Prince of Persia, and it wasn't as action-y. The Assassin's Creed trailer, yeah, I would want to go back and play the games upon seeing that, or just start the games fresh if I hadn't yet.
That's funny because, like, Prince of Persia, I think it started to reach its end at a certain point, and then that's when the movie about came out, didn't it? Because the later games for Prince of Persia didn't do
Prince of Persia sputtered out. That was its major problem. It had 3 really, really good games. It had a spin-off game that sucked, and it had a 4th kind of unheard of okay game. And then no one heard about it. No one talked about it, and Ubisoft didn't advertise it. They didn't try to do anything else with it, and they just let it die and went to Assassin's Creed. I think they went to Assassin's Creed before the last 2 games, actually.
I think so, yeah.
So they kind of already did its own spiritual successor and said, hey, look at this, Assassin's Creed's taken off, let's just leave Prince of Persia behind.
So do you think that Assassin's Creed is just walking in Prince of Persia's footsteps? They put out one really great they put out a couple of really good games at the beginning. Now it's just kind of staggering along.
No, I don't see it. I mean, Prince of Persia didn't have its own yearly release. It didn't almost become its own Call of Duty in a sense, like Ubisoft is trying to do with Assassin's Creed. Prince of Persia had a few good games, and it completely disappeared. Assassin's Creed is still kicking, and Ubisoft is trying to develop more and more hype for it, and this movie is, in part, playing into making the games more interesting to more people. Right? But I think the Prince of Persia movie, they really looked at that and said, oh, hey, let's sign over some rights. People can make a Prince of Persia movie, and it's a thing, we'll make some money off of it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really related to them marketing the games at all.
It was just its own thing. And I'm pretty sure Ubisoft didn't even have the control over it.
No, not like they have with this one, so.
Yeah. So, like we were talking about before with the games and people going back to playing the games. So you said you wouldn't go back and play the old past games because you already played them. So why would you start off on Black Flag? Is that because you haven't started that one, or?
Because I have already played 1 and 2. I know what's coming, and I know that 3 is kind of boring. 4 is a really good game, and I started it, I had fun with it, and I just dropped it because I had too many other games going on. But I would go back and play 4 now. That's where I'd want to start, because I don't want to suffer through how unpolished the first game was, then play through the second game, which I pretty much 100% beat. I've already done it. Maybe I'll replay it in the future, but I don't want to. 3 I wouldn't touch. 4 is just that starting point for me to go back and go, okay, here's some really fun gameplay. It's Assassin's Creed related, and that helps me develop my own hype for the movie.
So people that have seen the movie, or they're just getting that feeling, do you think they're going to be overwhelmed at how many options there are with all the different games? Or do you think they're going to be confused if they're not a fan, like, oh, where am I jumping
in? The games aren't all numbered. You have Assassin's Creed Revelations and stuff like that. People will be confused because of the subtitles. If they could have kept it simple and just named the games 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Well, we get to 4. Well, we got to 2, we got to 2, and then they branched off, and then we got to 3, and then we got to 4, but that had a title with it.
Yeah. I think anyone who is going to go and play the games, though, I mean, they're probably smart enough to look up where to start.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have the random parent looking at the Assassin's Creed trailer going, oh, I should go play that game. I don't even play video games. That's not going to happen. So we're not going to have those kinds of people going back.
Mm-hmm.
There will be confusion, but maybe it won't be as bad as I thought.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for our unexpected second part, awesome episode of Geeks Creed. Let me rephrase that. I'm gonna start
Second
over
part?
again. Second part of our second episode. I'm going to rephrase that.
Wait, what?
I think you got it.
You think I got it?
Oh yeah.
Is this not just episode 3?
We don't fuck around.
Is this like that Final Fantasy, like
Sorry,
14
Ubisoft,
and
we
a
don't
half?
freak around here. I'm not sure on Geeks Creed. I was only around for the first episode, so I've been gone for a month to know. But I'm Travis Snail.
I'm Dylan Muss.
Yeah, and you say it's the second part because Ubisoft just gives us stuff to talk about. You know.
Yeah, they
You're
give us
gonna
lots of
release this,
stuff.
and then you need to add a little extra scoopage in there.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know there was extra scoopage.
Mm-hmm.
And then they dropped it.
So, do you want me to take this
Scoop
over?
it.
You know, read out what you
Okay.
found out, and I'll give you my honest opinion.
So, what we're here to talk about is in the past. Well, this is coming. No, this will come out the week of. In the same week, they made these comments. I can't remember who made the bad comments, and then Ubisoft tried to cover. You might have heard this if you're a big Assassin's Creed fan. If not, I'm about to read them out. And this is kind of, I guess, the main topic what we'll be talking about today is if they're setting the movie up to fail. So, so they already, what was it, a couple months ago, they said the whole thing about the percentages, which was like, you could like it or not, but at the same time, it's like, they probably shouldn't have said that, you know?
Yeah.
Just keep that to
Mhm.
yourself, just whatever. So, this was, here we go. So, recently in an interview with MCV, Ubisoft's Alan Core, I think it's
Coor.
no, it's Alan. That's throwing me off. Alain?
Elaine.
Elaine, see? So is that that's a woman?
Who knows?
I don't
It
know.
might actually be Alan, but
Okay. Either way, Mr. and Mrs. Core said, and even then, it says then, after using her colleague, thank you for that, said that they didn't expect. It doesn't say he or she, so it's not helping me out at
they
all.
don't know either.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't
Don't want to offend. Yeah.
They didn't expect to make much money from Assassin's Creed. So here's the actual quote for quote. I'll tell you when I'm stopped. So,
Word
quote,
for word.
It is a lot more of a marketing thing. It is also a good for the image of the brand. The purpose is to bring the Assassin's Creed franchise, to more people. We have our core fans, but we would like to put this franchise in front of a lot more who maybe will then pick up future Assassin's Creed games. Now, in response to quotes, Ubisoft has issued the following statement. Ubisoft's core vision is to create a top quality entertainment and experiences. For the Assassin's Creed film, we have worked closely with our partners at New Regency and 20th Century Fox, as well as the talented cast production team from very beginning to ensure that we deliver a quality experience to our fans. We strongly believe that the Assassin's Creed brand has this crossover appeal. Crossover appeal that will please both video game fans and moviegoers. End of quote. So, Taylor, you started off. This is your, you're the host. What are your thoughts here?
Well, you said it right there. They aren't expecting to make a lot of money from this. And, I mean, you put out a movie, you want to make money from it.
Yeah.
That's the reason why you're putting out
It's
a
a
movie.
business.
It's a business,
Video
yeah.
games, TV, it's all business at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the idea, though, that, I mean, you don't see many companies out there, like, when you see a video game company that makes a movie, they put out the movie, like as we just said, they want to make money in return. But with Ubisoft, they're putting the movie out there just to create the awareness, which I think is pretty cool. That's kind of like what a dedicated fan would kind of want to do, to create awareness for something they love. And I think that's really cool. I mean, Ubisoft went as far as making their own movie production company to work on the movie. They've gone to huge extremes to, I guess, really create that awareness. And if it works, I mean, it's definitely a rich move. If you have the money to spend, I mean, then by all means go ahead. If they don't care about how much they're going to return and they want to create that awareness, then go right ahead. It means more of a fan base for something I love, and I'm okay with that.
Dylan, your thoughts on these comments?
Well, I mean, obviously it's like a strange thing to say in general, but I don't even know exactly what they're going for, right? Because if you say, like, let's say you don't know what Assassin's Creed is, like, at all, like the video game series, and you go to see the movie, and you're, like, interested in the series now, like where do you start? There's like 10 games, so right off the bat, that's like a
Probably
little
the reboot
overwhelming.
coming next year,
And
like
then
the new...
and then the new one doesn't come out for about another year after the movie, right? Because they usually come out November-ish or something. I'm pretty sure, and so so does
Watch
the movie.
Dogs is coming out instead.
Yeah, so it just seems like a weird timeline, right? Because there's going to be, I feel like if there is some people who don't know about the games and they're interested from the movie, they're going to have to wait a whole year for a new one, and they might just feel like, oh, I don't know if I want to start with like the old ones because there's already so many.
And mainstream people won't even know that it's like in year cycles. They're just gonna be like,
Right.
"Oh, go get a game."
Yeah,
They'll
true
maybe
enough.
get one of the old ones, but they'll be like, "Oh, there's Assassin's Creed like 4, Black Flag, or this that." Like you said, maybe they can't jump on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just a weird marketing. They've just been doing a weird thing the whole time, right?
Okay, it's my turn. If you couldn't hear, that was my next snap because I'm about to go to town on Ubisoft. Now, I'm going to clarify. I want this movie to be good for 2 reasons. One, we desperately need a very good video game movie. I'm sorry, Warcraft is not that. If you like it, great, but for me, it was not that, not universally that. Second, big Fassbender fan, so I want any movie he be in very good. Those comments have made me think that this movie is not going to be good because it sounds like when you say, oh, it's like something expensive that a mega company would do, that to me as a moviegoer worries me. I don't want to see a promotional item. I want to see a good movie. And to me, with the first comment, and then they backtrack, some Ubisoft guy puts out something like, oh, we're making a good movie, that means nothing. It's smart that they tried to like put tape over the wound, but like once you rip off that tape, the wound's still going to be there because it's not a fucking Band-Aid. Like it's too... you can't take that back, what they said. And that's a stupid thing. They already said, like, so the percentages... Okay, maybe not that controversial, but still, shouldn't have said it. This they shouldn't have said. You don't go out there saying, hey, we don't think this is going to make a lot of money. And even then, too, like, that just makes me feel like they don't really have an idea of what they're doing. Because it's like, okay, so either change your modeling and your marketing, or, as we've talked about before, move it away from Star Wars and pastures. Like, the main topic that I'm thinking for this is, like, is this movie set up to fail? And with those quotes and where it's placed, I feel like it really is. I feel like this is gonna come out and just be a fart like noise, and no one's gonna care about it. It could do maybe under 10 million, and no one's gonna see it, and then it won't, because if it doesn't make lots of money, so you get to get to see your core fans go see it. So
It's kind of like because they've released 2 trailers now, and if you maybe one.
no, just one.
No, there's 2.
There's
There's the regular one and then the international.
yeah,
one.
which is just less Kanye, but it's the
Anyway,
same trailer.
so if you see just that, like aside from the Kanye, it's like a pretty solid trailer. It's like,
Yeah.
this could be a good movie, and then it seems like every statement they put out is just like,
if they wouldn't have said anything and just let that trailer
yeah, exactly,
ride,
let it speak for itself.
we'd
right?
be excited. And I remember seeing it, and yeah, other than the Kanye, but whatever. Kanye, I don't think he's gonna be in the movie. If he is, then woof. But if he is, if he isn't, then the trailer, they look great. We were all excited, even with the Warcraft ones. We were like, I don't know, like that didn't get us pumped.
Yeah.
Where that was like, hey, this actually looks good. But then they said the percentage comment, and then this comment. And I just feel like I don't understand what their problem is. Like, they can't keep their mouth shut. And that's why I think this movie is now not going to be good. Because if those people are the same people in control of the movie and they don't really have an idea of doing what marketing-wise, they're not going to have an idea of what to do with the film. It's very much, I hate to throw it out, but it's like the same as like video games and superhero franchise. You look at Marvel, you look at DC. If you like Batman vs. Superman, great. But we saw that trailer that spoiled a lot. And I'd say the majority of people did not like the movie. I still like it. Taylor likes it. But the majority of people did not like it. And you could see that it was a muddy marketing campaign with kind of a muddy movie that was all over. Marvel campaigns are usually good and the movies are usually good. Where this, we haven't seen the movie, so we can't clarify. But as of right now, we have this really muddy marketing campaign of stuff they don't even need to be saying. Like, that's my thing, is like, I don't get, like, no one, like, even if they're asking these questions, like, who is in that position getting paid saying, like, oh, we don't expect it to make a lot of money? That's not good. Like, that's not a glowing review, because lots of people, I don't, but lots of consider people, like, making lots of money. I always talk business, but, like, making lots of money to be successful. And even then, you could have said, like, hey, it might not make that lots of money because it's a unknown property, but we think the film's going to be really strong and everything like that. And we think people are going to love it. It's going to be great. But all he says is, no, we hope it's going to sell more video games. Pretty much, if you break it down, he or she, whoever Elaine or Alan is, they say that, oh, we hope it sells more video games. And to me, I'll see it because we do this cast, I'll see it because Fassbender, but right then, if I was not doing this cast or not a fan of Fassbender, they would have lost my money. Because that, to me, shows that
They need some confidence in it, right?
Yeah, and it could be, I could be wrong. This could be this guy screwing up or this girl, but it doesn't matter. That's what happens when you say stuff like this. And to me, it's like, oh, we just need to sell video games and or like get it more awareness. To me, it's like, oh, so did you just kind of make a fun cutscene? You know, like did you just make an action movie with the name Assassin's Creed? You know, which yeah, it has like the suits and whatnot, but like, is it actually that and is it good? And to me, I'm very worried now. I think it is set for, and that's even we've talked about already before. We won't talk about again, but is the date right then was that for me that tick of like, oh man, like it's not off to a good start, but you have to build, and it's like you can't build, and then people like they didn't like the percentage thing, like I know you and Reuben talked last podcast, you didn't mind, but you saw like a lot of hate for it, so you know it's out there, and like there's a lot of hate for these comments, so it's just like. And two things that didn't even need to be said. It would like it doesn't even, like they didn't even go to Comic-Con, so they're not even a fan asking this. It's just them in interviews, which they could control. They could say, "Hey, you can't ask us this. You can't." And even then, I expect. I don't know. Maybe this because this person is used to dealing with video games. I expect a person, one of the heads of the company, to be smarter to say something like, "We don't expect it to do well." Because it's like to me, you say that, and I think people correlate with that. Oh, you don't expect it to do well because it's a bad movie,
right?
You know, so. That's my 2 cents. I think it's stupid. Like I think they're stupid, and I think it's like
it's almost like, it seems like they've almost like accepted that it won't sell very well or something, and they seem to be okay with that. Like,
but don't give up in the public though.
Exactly right, and
that
like
stuff you say around each other.
But even just like when it's coming out, like why haven't they moved that?
Oh, I know,
you
and
know?
they can't now because they've hit us with that date of like December 16th. Is it 16th or is it
21st?
Right, because 16th is Rogue One, and yeah, it's just, and that's why I worry. That's when these movies of like, hey, we're gonna put out when all this big stuff is out because we don't think it's gonna do that good. We'll just put it out.
We'll use that as an excuse or something.
Yeah, like oh, it's Christmas, and yeah, oh, Star Wars. That's why it didn't do good. But it's like, and the same thing as like. Warcraft did phenomenal in China global markets. I don't think Assassin's Creed is gonna do the same. I don't think it doesn't have as big as install base as Warcraft. So it's a thing of they don't have the the foreign box office to rest on. So I just
definitely not. No.
I just don't understand.
I think they would have a lot of Europe because that's where.
But you think Warcraft numbers? This is the thing.
I haven't looked at the Warcraft numbers.
Warcraft
so I'm not sure.
it broke records in China.
Really?
Like it's huge. It bombed here in the States, or sorry, North America. It bombed everywhere in North America, Canada, whatnot. Bombed. And if that was the same foreign, you would not get a Warcraft 2. But it did so well in foreign markets. It was breaking records, doing all this money that they might make a sequel because they're breaking even, and maybe even more. But I think Assassin's Creed will have a fan base, but it's the same thing. I don't think it has that global one. Plus, it does not have the same allure that Warcraft did, and the years of history. You know, like Warcraft is still. I mean, Assassin's Creed is what, 10 years old now? Maybe a bit over a decade? Like
over a decade now, I think, yeah.
Because when it came out, like, first year, second year of Xbox and PS3, which is what? 04, 05 or something?
Something like that, yeah.
So it's just over a decade, where Warcraft went a little further behind, but had a much bigger install base because of the online community.
There's, like, on my Assassin's Creed Universe page... There's hardly any like North American followers. They're all like Europe and all those other countries on the other side of the world. And
is it the same release date in Europe as well?
I don't know.
I'll check while you're talking.
Yeah, I don't know if it is the same release date or not. I do know that a lot of the people that do follow my page and such, like they do have a lot of hate on the movie, and
rightly so.
Yeah, rightly so. I mean. They do, but I mean, the fact that not a lot of North American people probably paying mind to it. I mean, when it comes down to a movie, like most of the money comes from like the Europe and the other countries, right? It's not so much like North American based, is it?
What is?
Like when a movie comes out, it's mostly
depends
based
on the movie though. Like Dory right now is doing much better in North America than like I think it has like 400 million North American than 200 million. Depends on the movie. Like Transformers do that. And now like the foreign markets are getting bigger, but your main target is the North American because that's like what the movie is, right? It's American. It's a movie made North America. You want to do good in North America. Same reason why like movies from Japan don't do good here because like subtitles and whatnot. So you want it to do good here first, and like just simple things like conversion. Like yeah, you can make a lot of money in China, but you'll still have to convert that money over. So you wouldn't get if you made 50 million in China, and you made 50 million in States, you'd get to keep a lot more of that 50 million than if you made in China. So
I think that I absolutely agree. I think they just should not have opened their mouths. They've said like a couple bad things that should not have been said. Those two main things.
Yeah.
I think it comes. I'm trying to find out the exact one, but I think it comes out relatively the
Yeah.
same. I think it says the 20th or something, so like a day.
Well, I don't even know if that's like typically a thing if things are released the same days. And
Lots of times, like lately, they've been coming out like a couple weeks early or whatnot. So
okay.
North America, France. So no, I think it's all relatively coming out like at least with days in each other as
Right.
far as the market.
So kind of irrelevant.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know, like, and they haven't even showed a full and second trailer. December is still how many months away? 5 months away.
Mhm.
You have Star Wars, which is going to be Celebrations coming up. You have another Rogue One trailer. You're going to get Star Wars 8 hype. Like, it's just, and then Pastors hasn't even dropped a trailer. That's what I literally think that this movie is now like taking quality away. I don't think it's going to do good, and I think it'll do probably lower than Warcraft, which Warcraft, I can't remember if it was even a 40 million or something like that. Like, it did low numbers here, so I think it is just kind of set up to fail. And, like, would you guys agree with that? Like, we've talked about before, but I guess, like, answering the main question, like, I feel like from the beginning, it just feels like this thing has not even gotten a chance to really run. You know, that's how I feel.
I would say so. I think that there's a lot more people in general that have like the more nostalgia impact from like a movie like, or from a world, I guess, from like Warcraft, right? Where Assassin's Creed, not so much. A lot of people, maybe played a couple games when they were younger and then kind of moved on. Obviously, not everyone's as hardcore as Taylor is over here, especially like you, right? You just played a couple of the games.
I played 2 and I was done. Yeah.
And I feel like that's like most of my friends. None of my friends talk about Assassin's Creed anymore, whereas I still see people on Discord playing World of Warcraft all the time. So, I mean, I didn't look good for Warcraft, and it's not looking any better for Assassin's Creed.
No.
That's for sure.
And it's just, like, and before you answer, it just begs this question of, like, when are we going to get a video game movie that does everything right? From, like, marketing to trailers to word of mouth to being, and then at the end of the day, just a good movie, Because the other thing that bugs me, too, is if this movie comes out and it's really good and we all like it, the majority of people like it, and they had this, like, kind of shitty, like, people said this stuff and then it was placed at this bad date. That'll make me more mad, because if it's bad, then I kind of get it. Because, like, oh, it all made sense why this, like, they kind of said this stuff. But if it's good and lots of people, especially critics, like it, it's like then you really just.
Well, I mean, I don't think it'll be. I don't think there's any way it could be like a totally awful movie just because of Fassbender. Like he alone can like do so much for
up to
a
5,
movie.
but like I think Warcraft's an horrible movie.
But if he brings it up to a 5, then it's already better than Warcraft. Right?
Yeah, so, like, I gave it a 2.
So
yeah.
If it's by default a 5, that's pretty good.
But like taking my love at him out, like I would have like it could be that bad, Like it could be. I don't know, like it's just, and the thing that worries me is this percentage. But Taylor, as you the biggest fan, as you're the host of this podcast, I'm sure many of you that listen to this maybe play a lot of the games still. I think that's good why we're on, because we're just the average moviegoer / game. So,
I think that the movie, in the end, I think it'll be a good movie. I think that it will at least set some kind of stepping stone, I would hope, for video games to movie adaptations. I think, like, their marketing is definitely wrong, and I am concerned at the fact that they've been promoting it horribly, and in the end it will be a decent movie, but they've set themselves up, as you said, to fail. I'm still excited to see it. I think that the one thing that it probably won't have that much of a changing factor in it, but if they pull off a really good second trailer that doesn't reveal too much, but at the same time it gets people kind of interested, then maybe people are willing to think like, well, forget what they said, and just kind of move past that. But I wanted to ask, do you know who Elaine or whatever his like status is, what his title is? Is he like head of marketing or something like that? Because that worries me.
It's probably like a janitor or something.
the one thing I will say that has going for it when you say that there has to be like a good trailer and whatnot, it can be, because the thing of like the average moviegoer, and I always use her, but like my mother, she's not heard of these comments, right? She's not gonna. We hear it because we're online, like we do a podcast, and I'm sure people that are on Facebook, Twitter, and whatnot follow your page, like they've heard it. So that's the thing. It's like it's not a major thing of. His first thing is his email comes up. Not his actual email, but just like, oh, do you want his email?
We'll give it to you.
Yeah, for a small fee. If you go purchase a ticket to Assassin's Creed. But, like, the good thing is, it's just us that hear it. Doesn't make me think that, like, that's the reason it'll bomb. There's other reasons why I think that, but it's just, like, that just makes me think about, like, the quality of the movie, not so much, like, the stats. Let's see, Ubisoft, Encore executive profile, business week. I'm trying to find.
With the games though, like when people are gonna see the movie and wonder like, hey, I want to play a game. Which game am I gonna get into? From like Assassin's Creed 1 right up to 4, they are kind of like all in their own storyline. But after that, like Unity and Syndicate and even Rogue, they've been forming like their own stories where you don't have to actually play other ones to really join in. So I think whatever one they release after this movie, they are kind of in a sense setting the stage for. Like, you can join in at any moment you want. You can just hop in with Unity or Syndicate.
I think
Doesn't
that's what it
say, I
seems.
physically put in his role and it doesn't come up. It's just like
Doesn't
a
say.
bunch of like pictures. And
Probably
whatnot,
doesn't even
so-
work for the company.
We'll find it out next cast. There's your job for the next Geeks Creed to find that out.
Yeah.
Well, to go along with that, I don't think they've really had much info on the newer game coming out, right? But do you think it'll be like a new character, new storyline sort of thing?
Well, it'll definitely be a new character, new storyline. I mean, ever since Assassin's Creed 3, when the main character Desmond died, they've just been... They have little nods, and they have certain characters from the original. Like, if you're a huge fan, you'll know who Sean is and his
But
comrades.
I think
Like-
this is a mute point. I don't even think most people aren't gonna go want to play the game. Most people that go see the movie are just hoping for a good movie, and if it's good, they're gonna go like just go home. I think like they're not.
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
play
like,
the
most
game.
of them will.
Lots of people don't pick up like comic books after. I don't think like when I watch Harry Potter, it's been like, oh, I gotta read those now. Like, okay, that was fun. Like, I don't think like the game. Like that's the thing when they say like, okay, you'll get maybe a few more people, but I think the game fans are its game fans. I feel like game fans like Dale and myself will jump over the games not because the movie's good, it's because the next game comes out and something that interests us or something new and like. Just because Assassin's Creed the movie's good doesn't mean I'm gonna be like, man, now I need to play all the games. And that's from the gamer.
But I think it's just a matter of like not picking a game or going back to the games. It's like here we have like Syndicate or Unity. Story isn't a straight up continuation, so you could hop in whatever game if you chose to do that. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not saying like here's Assassin's Creed 1, 2, 3, 4. You gotta start from the very beginning to catch
Yeah.
up. Which I like that concept. How you could hop in at any game you really want to. That isn't like part of the first trilogy.
Yeah.
But Fassbender's character is like new for the movie, right?
He is new, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, even if the movie's good, like I don't think it'll persuade me personally to like go back and play the games. Just
No.
for me, it's kind of like just a daunting task to go through and like kind of play. There's just way too many of them at this point, right? But I mean, the new game doesn't even come out for another year afterwards, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of is irrelevant too. It seems like a weird timing. It almost seems like they're trying to just separate it from the games, but then with the statement, it sounds like they're trying to pair it. So it's just confusing, right? It's
Yeah.
like, what path are you going for here? What I don't know. Marketing, interesting marketing techniques. Interesting.
Prior to
Very
our
interesting.
second part here, me and Reuben were talking. Reuben mentioned that
Reuben.
they could put out a Assassin's Creed movie, the game movie. Now, what would you think if Ubisoft had the guts to put out?
I think that'd be a
Assassin's Creed
terrible idea
the
because
game?
most game to video game movies are awful. And if
Exactly.
I think it'd be a good idea then if they're gonna make an awful game to at least do it right now. Like a year from now, the hype's gone, and especially
That's the thing, right?
that just
A
doesn't
full
make
year.
sense. Because to me, if they are doing that, then I would understand releasing it with the movie. But I don't understand a year later unless the movie is huge.
No, I meant like alongside the movie.
Yeah,
It
they
wouldn't be
should
a
have
year
done
later.
that, but I wouldn't buy that either. So it's like I'm not buying any Assassin's Creed game unless I want to buy the game. The movie could be a 10 out of 10. That might not make me buy the game though. They're two separate entities,
Well, it's like you said. It seems like they're back and forth trying to make it like one kind of. Even they're not even sure. Like we got a movie, but we're not sure. Maybe it is a game.
Yeah. Taylor, you have anything else to add to this?
Well, that was the highlight. That was the huge bit of news that really came out. I mean, I looked at the article just now when they said like we're hoping that this is going to break the trend of bad video game movies. And as I said before, I really hope it creates a little bit of a stepping stone because I don't think Warcraft really solidified anything. It made the money, as you said, so it'll probably maybe get a sequel. Just because it makes the money doesn't mean it's breaking that chain. I want to see a movie that breaks free of this horrific curse that seems to linger around video game movie adaptations. And, I mean, Ubisoft, they have I don't know who's doing it, Elaine, whatever.
Elaine.
It's a guy. It's a guy for
it's
sure.
a guy.
He's putting out horrible comments. He needs to be quiet. Like I said to you, it's like someone says a bad joke and they just keep trying to explain it over and over and over again. You're like, this is too awkward. I think that, yeah, the marketing sucks, but they've got a good movie. They've got a good cast. They have an established franchise there. So they just need to put out another trailer and just roll with it. They need to shut up and stop being so just overly excited about it, but at the same time being just, oh, well, it's not going to do that good. We're not going to make too much money off of it. Yeah,
you gotta own it. You gotta own it. You gotta be confident.
Yeah, you gotta be confident.
This is our movie, and it is fantastic.
It's gonna kill.
Yeah, you didn't see Blizzard saying, "Oh, Warcraft's not going to do that good," but we're okay with that.
There you have it, folks. That's how we think.
There you
Taylor,
have
did
it.
you already do plugs in the last episode where they could follow us?
I did, but I messed it all up, so I cut a lot of it out.
Okay.
Maybe
You
do it
can find
again.
us in the search bar, Google, Yahoo, Astros, all that. We're on Facebook, Twitter,
Just ask
SoundCloud.
Siri. I'm sure Siri can
Yeah,
find
Siri
us.
might know.
Or
SoundCloud,
Cortana.
YouTube.
Or Cortana.
Fuck Cortana. But yeah, thank you for listening to Geeks Creed. Taylor,
Hashtag save Hannibal.
Yeah, you want to say something last thing as it's your podcast?
Last
to take us
thing.
out? Have you not thought of a sign off yet? An Assassin's Creed like sign off?
I just
That's
know-
the only critique I had of the first episode or the last episode. I was like, you need a sign off. I have, I don't know what we'll be talking about next time, but it won't be boring. But like, you can't take that from me. You got to get your own one.
I just say to all you Assassins and Templars out there, have a fantastic whatever
Evening.
or day.
Next podcast, Taylor's gonna have a new sign off, and he's gonna tell you who Alan or Elaine Core is.
Alan.
I think that's a good pod to end right there.